Snap them out of their dreams, trying to wake them up and show them the world ain't what it seems. They sleeping, I creep and snap them out of their dreams, trying to wake them up and show them the world ain't what it seems.
They've been pushing that transgender agenda for a long time. And this is more so about Marilyn Manson specifically. Looking back at one of his videos is Beautiful People. I don't even have to actually watch it. I remember how demonic that shit was even back then. And the transgender or genderless people in the video predict a program with merging man with machines, doing all kind of weird sick shit in the videos. And these are, real experiments that they're doing behind closed doors. This word coagula, of course it sounds like the word coagulate. Way deeper and darker than what you could even imagine. Casting spells is a real thing. Reversing words. It's a real thing that hits our subconscious. And a lot of these words don't even mean what we think. That's why when you look up a word, it has 15, 20 different definitions. They're hiding truth right in the words, but we gotta decipher and find truth. The Baphomet, goat of Mendez, half man, half goat, half woman, half beast, whatever it is. This is what Hollywood worships. And of course it's linked to Saturn, Satan worship.
They are sleeping, I creep and snap them out of their dreams, trying to wake them up and show them the world ain't what it seems. They sleeping, I creep and snap them out of their dreams, trying to wake them up and show them the world ain't what it seems. They sleeping. I creep and snap them out of their dreams, trying to wake them up and show them the world ain't even what it seems. The world ain't even what it seems. The world ain't even what it seems.
And Marilyn Manson is just like all the other Hollywood artists. They're all a part of this spell, working with the government, the CIA, mind control, MK Ultra.
I always revert to sarcasm when you ask me a serious question, because it was a tough time where I just really had everything was going right. I just had it all ripped out from under me. So instead of crybaby about it, I refused to do any interviews about it. I came out with a statement. I had my shaved head and a gun and a rifle in my hand. It was my father's rifle from Vietnam. And wrote an essay for Rolling Stone that Jan Winter invited me to write. And I think that was the best way I could say something, because obviously, from being in journalism, that, anything you say, people will take little pieces out of. And me being a former journalist also, I also know how to construct sentences in the way that they can't be taken out of context. That's also probably why the CIA wanted to recruit me when I was a younger child. My father told me before he passed.
The CIA wanted to recruit you?
He said something along those lines. He said he tried to protect me from them, because I think that he was somehow involved in Vietnam with covert operations that I'm probably not even supposed to know about. So he never told me about it until he was, very ill at the end.
So on the passing things he says he was the CIA tried to recruit you and I tried to keep you away from it.
Yeah, for the most part, he said because of my ability to understand language and count the amount of things in a room before you even get a chance to.
And these mind soul harvesting operations, they're all a part of it. Here goes a picture of Manson back in the day with Antoine LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan. Or at least the front face. They told us was the guy that created it. Check this picture out right here with Manson, crown of thorns on his head. They reverse everything. Then I spotted that Coagula tattoo on him, just like the Baphomet. It's kind of no surprise that he has it because they worship Saturn, Satan, the Baphomet. And this concert from not too long ago, I believe they were testing out CERN technology of some sort. And look at the flyer. See you on the other side. And there's clearly a portal right behind him. And then the two elements right there, wind and fire, creating a vortex. Just like the Google Chrome symbol, that 666 I symbol. It's also an alchemical symbol. And that's what it stands for, heat, vortex, portal opening up. It's crazy. They all worship him. Marilyn Manson, Mickey Mouse head chains, which Mickey's another devil symbol hidden in plain sight for us. Demon names and god names and mythology and hidden history. Putting in fandom. It's like they do in cartoons, right? We never believe, put it in movies. We think it's just a movie. Really, they're laying out mad truth for us to decode. Word Coagula is also in there, and with each thing in fandom, it gives it attributes of what it's all about. Check this out. Movies, shows, obviously is a weapon for their agenda and to tease us at the same time. And Hitler actually found that out back in the day, helping the government realize that TV, sound, waves, the light codes, sending signals right to our brains subconsciously. Mind manipulation. So one thing I've learned about these pale vampires that have been pulling the strings for probably thousands of years through their ancestors and keeping it in the family, so to speak. They seem to keep it in the bloodlines, right? That's why you see all the royals and in Hollywood interbreeding. Even back in the day, the Roman Empire dynasties. Another one of the 5 black nobility, the House of Borgia. The image they show us for Jesus, Caesar Borgia. He had Leonardo da Vinci repaint the cathedrals. They were pretty close. Gotta dig deep, you'll find that they started interbreeding with all different cultures.
They're blending their bloodlines in.
Creating power everywhere. Hiding their names well, under many names. So many you would think it's coincidence or conspiracy to think that they're all tied into the same couple of families. But those 13 bloodlines, Saturnian bloodlines, they're synced up all over the world, and you could obviously see it right now, big time. But knowing that made me wonder why in the past I've seen a couple of those families, those top families, merging in with African or melanated people. So it goes crazy deep. It makes a lot of sense if these people are demons in power right now, that have been in power for quite a while, are not even really from here. And the original people were African descent. Makes more sense why no sunburn, don't get tan. The sun doesn't affect them because it's natural. They were here originally. They've always had us looking up for aliens. They are the aliens. But I'm not talking about outer space, because the UFOs they were showing us, all that is Saturn. Look at that image, think about it. Anyways, it makes a lot more sense though, that say even if the Earth was way bigger than what they tell us, because you already know there's a lot more than what they tell us. So why wouldn't they lie about that? It's definitely starting to affect them, starting to make their bloodlines weak. How they're gonna keep conquering and torturing and controlling the world.
What constitutes your DNA is the coagulation of these elementals, these primordial archetypal elementals that are now coalescing around the design of the intelligent mind to become you, man. So the DNA is essentially just following the instructions of universal mind to condense you into man, to God as man. Now all of this is coming to be because now you're going to see what they have to do in order to interrupt and mess with who you are. Because the old forms of mind control don't work too tough no more. Evidence. Y'all ain't sucking on a neck bone. Now, it has been told that our planet is being terraformed by different types of species who live in these kinds of environments. Now, these kind of environments never existed when we were around. We have adapted. We die sooner than the 1,000 to 2,000 years that we lived. Why is that? Because the atmosphere has been terraformed in order to keep someone else comfortable, in order to feed someone else, in order to sustain someone else. There once was a hydrogen halo surrounding our Earth that fed the higher frequencies of universal mind directly to our DNA pattern. It was a triangular harmonic that connected the sun's hydrogen harmonic and the Earth's hydrogen harmonic to that of the body's hydrogen harmonic. Today, the fallen elders, or as they're called, I call them the elders, the dark elders, and I don't mean the dark elders like us. I'm talking about those who live in the shadows of fixed projection of light as consciousness. As light travels through the ever-increasing density of matter, it begins to spiral in relationship to the elements that it gathers. Let me say that again. As light travels through the ever-increasing density of matter, it begins to spiral. It doesn't go into a straight line. It spirals. That's why when you look at the electrical line inside of here, it's twisted. Because all things, once it gets to this level, light travels, everything travels, atomics, everything travels in spirals. All energy travels in spirals. The denser the elements themselves fix light through the densification of atoms. The elements fix light. Okay? They fix light through the densification of atoms who behave according to how many elementals and atoms join together. So the more compact, the more constricted these atoms and these elements work together, the more density of light you have. And the more awareness you can actually encompass, and the more manipulation of these atoms you can do through your mind. Because that's the secret. Manipulating structure, manipulating the DNA helix, manipulating the hydrogen connection, so that you now begin to give instructions based upon your awareness, not through what they're telling you. Higher awareness, it must grow now. You must get deep into metaphysics at this time to save your life. This is not just about you saying, well, I'll study in school and we'll take this, and I may even take a little something of metaphysics. No, bullshit. You got to have to put everything aside and study metaphysics now, because that's how they're coming at you. They're coming at you through the metaphysical tip. The denser or more compact the atoms, the greater the concentration of light. If you manipulate the atmosphere or ionosphere, Ion is the name of John. That's why the book of John ain't nothing to do with no people. The book of John, if you notice, the four gospels, the first three are called the synoptic gospels, which mean they're just synapse, they're just compilation, real put together. Most of them are all put together. They're pretty much the same. But the last one of John don't seem to start off like anything else. All right? John is not actually a person. It was based upon ionosphere, ion being a dynamic of radiation, a dynamic of light. So John, if you look at the word J, there was no J, it was I-O-N. John, is the book of John, is telling you in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And if you understood what the Word was and how they're using the Word to manipulate your DNA, the Word through frequencies, because remember, the Word is a frequency, so they're playing with the Word so that your words come out the way they want you to say it. They come out the way you want. They want you to think it. So they actually create, you try to find out, where do they get these kind of monsters? Who is the one who's designing these? They are working through those entities that they know are part of Hollywood. And they're there to make sure that they have places to live, because when you go look at the movie and you see this and you getting terrified, they live best with children, because children have a greater impact. They have a greater impact on the memory chemistry of children. That's why you got to be very careful about what you show your children at a very early age. Because they're like cameras that just snap and keep pictures. You know what it was like when you were scared and you saw a monster and you kept that bad boy with you for how long? They live in that. And I say, oh, get out of here, Reverend Bell. Yeah. Well, you tell me, when you're running from something, you don't know what it is. Self-aware. You see? And all of it is hidden. The geneticists are now in possession of the lamp, or at least have knowledge of how the lamp works, to release the gene, to get the gene E to do its wishes. So now they have to change the infrastructure. They have to start milking and blending and putting together certain blood types that come from between. See, my blood type, they're going to want to find out what's wrong with me and how I get, okay, I got part white, part black, part Spanish, part African, part everything. They're going to want to know what my blood is doing. How come he ain't got pustules coming out of his skin? Well, you can bet they already are terraforming the human body. And they are using the body itself and how it defends itself, or how it acclimates to higher frequencies of consciousness. They're already doing that. Now, the hydrogen anchors between the complementary bases. Now, this is the DNA. Just imagine the DNA and these little ladder, Jacob's ladder, connecting it all the way through. Okay? The hydrogen anchors, and I use the word hydrogen as an anchor. because it anchors the elements that have coalesced into the helix. Hydrogen anchors those elements. All right?
Back to those bloodlines, though. One of the first ones I noticed, and like over the years of reading, I remember one of the bloodlines, the Saturnian bloodlines, is called Breakspear. You could look that name up, you'll start to see it everywhere. Hidden name, one of the hidden hands. But the first big thing I noticed is Bob Marley, his wife was a Breakspear. So that clicked for me a little more on, wait, they're having to interbreed again for melanin. Which means Damian Marley is the product of a, Saturnian bloodline family, Breakspear. Breakspear is literally one of the top powers of the world. Online you'll see name all over medical industry, the tech world, wineries, government, farming, everything. Movies, Hollywood. So Beyonce. And there goes that light-skinned royal bloodline creation, just one of many. In Hollywood, government, music, they're all created from those bloodlines. And they don't even hide the symbols if you know what they mean and you know what they're showing you. Instead, most people, unfortunately our own kids, are just rocking them, not even knowing there's ill intention behind them. Well, these symbols carry frequency. But I'm sure you could think a lot of them, the light-skinned artists, Hollywood, movies that are going out of their way to show you and tell you little clues about royalty. Remember Kendrick? It kind of makes me want to listen to that Kendrick bar a little different. Loyalty got royalty inside my DNA, he said, right? Probably a coincidence on that. You'll hear them all over the years. I remember a line from Jay-Z back in the day. Didn't really know what it meant, but he'd say things like, it ain't by accident, you know what I mean? Like him being there was a plan. Because it was, though. Think about the name and the wordplay. Rockefeller, one of the most powerful names in the world. Rockefeller. It's all right there. But yep, speaking of him, that's why you'll see him hanging out with people like Marina Abramovich, which is a real life witch. Just see it looking at her. Hollywood all worships her and her teachings. And she's like 70-something, looking like she's in her 30s, even minus the dyed hair, you could still see. And why? Vampires, they like blood, adrenochrome, and who knows what other alchemy and weird black magic things they're doing to stay young. They do love energy of little kids.
Adrenochrome.
Not that I watched 1 millisecond of that trial. I understand, and a lot of you I'm sure understand why things like that even exist. They're gonna put this high-level Hollywood star, Marilyn Manson's right-hand man, they're gonna put him on trial right now, knowing that that's a great way to confuse and put everyone to sleep, especially a lot of women that would love to hear personal things about their crush, A little news headline clip that he was coloring while he was in court. So my question was, what is he coloring? Because coloring is just letting you know it's a tease, that it's all a game and an act. But I wanted to know what he was coloring. So I got a couple images of what they show in court, zoom in on him, Well, check out what he was coloring. Those are the kind of little parallels you got to look at. Little aliens running around everywhere. So maybe this is some kind of signal about that fake alien invasion coming soon, possibly. And again, if something like that does happen and it's not just projection, my thoughts are no matter what, it's them. And that's what they've been working on underground all these years, creating it. Just like in all the shows and all the Ninja Turtle clips I show, and probably thousands of shows that everyone else might know that they're doing the same thing. But yeah, to go back to that picture, obviously it was all a game. There's always got to be confusion, mass confusion going on. People love drama. They love the Hollywood witches. Nah, they're not Satanists, pedophiles. Nah, they're not vampires. And he's definitely not tied into these draconian bloodlines or the original Dracula. No way.
Guys. Hey guys.
With everything going on, we need more distraction. Let's call in the beekeepers. Like I said, they're all teasing us, and people love watching these videos, man. They're just spellcasting right on you. It's kind of laughable when you see it. You see it all over the world. I mean, I've seen that since I was a little kid, wondering why with the, you know, all the cartoons. This is probably the first thing. And then zooming in on numbers and shit, showing you numerology and dates. And everybody sees it. I'm not the only one, but putting it all together, syncretism, I think is important. It's important for me, at least. Here's another one, though. Think about it. Drake, he started from the bottom, he said, right? I guess starting at Disney as a kid is starting from the bottom. Ancient times they were called jesters. Now they call them actors, musicians, stars. They're all agents, spellcasters. Started from Disney. Disney grooms them. When they go for these music contracts, they're not promising them hell for all the riches and fame and money. And to be a part of the occult and rituals and sacrificing and all that stuff they're doing. They're promising them immortality. So where they will live on forever, maybe not in one body, but controlled consciousness, rebirth into other bodies. They've been doing that for thousands of years. Egypt was doing that. And I believe they're doing it now. And who knows how long, the last couple hundred years.
Everyone loves to stay at my hotel. I'm sure a bunch of really top shelf, very classy people died there.
They're coming!
I actually heard the aliens are already here. They've been hiding in this country for hundreds of years. It's a fact. They're shapeshifters. They look like regular people, but they're aliens. Look, there's one right there.
There's an ancient alchemist from the 1600s, Nicholas Flamel, the character, of course, from Harry Potter. Definitely a real guy. And matter of fact, in the 1600s, supposedly the first one to achieve the Philosopher's Stone, transcendence, soul transfer. So back to it. And of course, 322 is the day where he supposedly died. Then his later writings, 100 or 200 years later, he was writing about he found the philosopher's stone through alchemy and figured out how to become immortal. And like I said, immortality is not how we would normally interpret, or how I used to interpret it. Body's dying, but now I'm sure that's not going to be the case, because again, it ties into what I'm saying about the contract. They're not promising them hell, they're promising them immortality to upload them, save them into the cloud, into this new alternate universe, metaverse, whatever it is that they've created. Now that term from Drake, YOLO, has a little bit more meaning now, right? Not YOLO, you only live once, so do whatever, have fun. He's meaning that as well, but it's way deeper than that. He's meaning immortal, immortality. That's what they're promised. They're not gonna die. Their one consciousness and being as they know it will be the same even if they're in a different shell. That's what YOLO means. We don't realize magic spells are being casted upon us, and you can't talk no one out of it. You're a hater otherwise.
The computer simulator down the hall is necessary for our evolution as a species. But now that you are once again in front of me and aware of the simulation, I believe you won't want to destroy it. Not when you understand the good it's doing. Its reason for being is to advance life, not end it.
If I were to change my course of action and terminate my father, would I be able to upload to the simulation?
We can upload a mind now through any smartphone. No one's even aware we're doing it. We can take a piece of your mind anytime you make a call. Painless. 2 hours.
Painless, except we have to die.
One of our best incentives here is that you and loved ones don't ever die.
So if you upload me through my phone, I don't really have a choice.
Sure you do. You could not use your phone.
Sure you do. You could not use your phone.
Life on this earth, all human life, most animal life,